Let's talk bulking. I've always been a super skinny kid with a really high metabolism and literally no appetite. But in less than 2 years, I made a viral bulking transformation without getting excess fat or spending hours cooking or feeling bloated every day. I'm still going with the bulk, but I've learned a lot so far and it's even easier than it was when I started. So today I'm going to share a full day of eating with my easy bulking diet, and I don't promise it's going to be aesthetic, but it's going to get the job done. I'm also going to be sharing the supplements I use, but meal one is breakfast. Breakfast is super simple. I've literally just got some oats, some yogurt and my green tea. I'm never really that hungry in the morning, so my breakfast isn't massive, but I make sure to get in some protein with the yogurt. I always used to have just a protein shake for breakfast, but having the carbs there is going to help it last longer, which is exactly what we need. I accidentally left the oats in a bit too long, but today it's a bit of a vibe. I also currently track all my meals using MyFitnessPal, and for things I eat every day like oats, I'll just save it as a meal so I can add it in literally 2 seconds. I eat a fair bit of yogurt every day because honestly, liquid calories when you're bulking are a bit of a cheat code. I don't really know if you can count these as supplements, but it's hay fever tablets because there's a lot of pollen in the air right now and I get hay fever. I don't have all my supplements at the same time, but in the morning I also do have little multivitamin. I usually have some fish oil tablets as well because they're a really good source of omega-3s, but I ran out. So it's just the multivitamins for now, which I definitely recommend. Also, a thing that I learned recently, you know how people usually tip their head back to swallow tablets and stuff? If you tip your head forward, you can get it in easier because you're opening up your airway. Not your airway. You're opening up your throat a bit more when you tilt your head forward, so it goes down easier. So, hot tip for taking your supplements. I also do take other supplements, but I like to have them one before my workout and one after my workout, so I'll show you those in a bit. Meal 2, gonna make a little snack because the thing about bulking is you can make your life a whole lot easier if you just split up your food into more smaller meals throughout the day. This meal is going to be really simple, and the reason I like to have this as a snack is because it's been scientifically shown that the best way to use your protein is to split it up into 3 to 5 separate meals per day, because that means that you're maximizing the muscle protein synthesis and you're basically in a more continuous state of being able to build muscle. So that's basically it, and then I just have some nuts with that. A handful or so. What's the most important meal of the day? No, Karen. It's pre-workout. Unless you train fasted. I'm having a bit of a random lunch today because I'm actually going on holiday in 2 days. 1 day. 1.5 days. Anyway, I need to use some stuff up. So, for lunch, first we have some chicken and peas for the micronutrients. And then I'm gonna make some high protein Weetabix brownie, which if you've not tried it before, I'm telling you, you've got to try it because this is gonna change the way that you eat Weetabix. I tend to have quite a lot of carbs and protein in my pre-workout meal so that I give my body enough energy to fuel me through the whole session. The only thing I don't have so much of is fats before I work out because fats actually slow down your digestion and you don't really want to be digesting so much food while you're lifting weights. So I save the fats for later on. I know it's probably not the most aesthetic bowl you've ever seen in your life, but it tastes so good. Trust me on this one.
5 minutes later.
Okay, pre-workout done, so you know what that means. soon as I get home from the gym, I always take my creatine. You don't have to take it straight after the gym. You can take it whenever, but I just like to do that because that's when I remember to do it. It just helps with the water retention in your muscles and helps you push a little bit heavier. Some people get really freaked out about creatine because they think it's a steroid, but I'm telling you, it's not a steroid. It's actually made naturally by your body anyway, so it's completely safe. And it's one of the supplements that are actually worth it. Okay, post-workout is a little bit of a mix. I have some meal prep that I prepped yesterday, but I didn't have enough rice. So I think I've got some rice somewhere in my freezer, which I'm going to try and find. I don't know how much it is though. And I'm going to do some veg with that. And then we're going to have some other stuff because I usually have 2 meals after my workout. So I have dinner and then something later on, but it's a bit late. So I'm going to sort of combine my 2 last meals into one. But that's all good because I've got some high calorie tricks up my sleeve that is gonna save the day. Here is the meal prep situation. It is curried mince with some veg in there. I'd usually take my meal prep with me to uni to have for lunch, and I just have it cold. But I'm considering having it hot. I'm not sure. I don't know if I can be bothered. Oh, that's not rice, that's quinoa. We're having quinoa. I just kind of needed to use up what I had today because I'm going away on holiday. Guess where I'm going? I won't tell you, but guess in the comments and then when I'm there, I'll let you know. Yeah, I can't be bothered to wait for my veg. I always like to have my protein first anyway, so I guess it's a win-win. This is actually so good cold. I don't know if it's just me. Cold meat. So got our quinoa and our veg. I just keep it in the separate pots because it's less washing up if I had to dirty a plate as well. This is such an underrated combination. I know this is probably weird, but I exclusively like dark chocolate melted. I'm not a fan of it if it's just a square of chocolate. It has to be melted. And like 85% or above. I've tracked what I've had so far and I've got a few carbs, fats and protein left to hit. So those are my macronutrients that I'm aiming for. Generally, to figure out your macros when you're bulking, you start with the amount of protein you need to hit and then you base the number of carbs and fats off that. I've got another video going through a whole lot of stuff about protein, which I'll link somewhere. And yeah, so I'm gonna have some fruits and a few other things to try and hit those macros. Then I'm gonna make some chocolate peanut butter mousse, but I've tweaked the recipe because I think I put it in another video and it's got a little tweak today. The main ingredient of our chocolate peanut butter mousse is obviously peanut butter. But if you've made it this far in the video, you have to answer this question, right? Which is better, crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter? I know you know the right answer. Also, if you are tracking, a really good way to track spreads and stuff is to actually put the pot on the scales and then you take it out of the pot itself. So if you do that, you can see it's minus 26. So that means you're putting 26 grams in your bowl. Then I've got this protein fromage frais, but Greek yogurt also works fine. And you can measure that out the same way as the peanut butter. Then you're gonna add in some cocoa powder. This cocoa powder isn't very strong, so I like to add in quite a lot. And then you're gonna mix it quite well. It is so good. You can't tell me it's not. I mean, look at that. It's really thick as well. This is one of my favorites. I have this or something similar pretty much every day. I always like to end my day with a higher protein and higher fat meal because since the fats are slower digesting, that means that they'll be digesting the protein slower. So while you're asleep, you'll still be getting that benefit from the protein and creating that little muscle building response. So that's a tip for you to try out on your bulk. Along with the peanut butter mousse. You do have to remember though that everyone's calories and macros are going to be different because we're all unique. And even though I'm bulking at quite a hefty number of calories for a girl, other people might need more, other people might need less. So it really depends on you. I mean, none of my meals today have been that massive. I've just chosen higher calorie foods that have hit my macros and are going to help me reach my goals. I eat similar things every day, but obviously the foods might change every so often. The calories will definitely change over time. And it's just a whole process. So it's one that I'm enjoying, to be fair. But it was definitely a struggle to start off with. Don't get me wrong. So that all came out to just over 2,800 calories. I do have a couple of other videos of what I ate in a day earlier on my bulk, so the calories were a bit lower and the meals were different. So if you want to check those out, here you go.